Then, having seen this, the trainee is practicing for the purpose of revulsion towards what is subject to cessation. For example, the things in the world, for example, somebody that you love is subject to cessation, subject to aging, sickening and dying. So you see that this person that you love, because it is subject to cessation and it is dependent on certain conditions to keep it alive. And so the trainee, he is practicing for the purpose of revulsion towards what is subject to cessation. This that we cling to, if we see that is impermanent, that is subject to cessation, then if you are practicing for the purpose of revulsion, disenchantment towards this that we attach to, then one is a trainee. That means you are practicing to let go. You're practicing to let go. You are a trainee, one who has seen but has not finished the work. Whereas the Arahant, he sees the same thing, but he has revulsion. He already has achieved revulsion towards what has come to be. Revulsion towards its origination, to nutriment, and so to revulsion towards what is subject to cessation, through its fading away and cessation, one is liberated by non-clinging. It is in such a way that one has comprehended the Dhamma. So one who has comprehended the Dhamma fully, one who has finished his work, he has total revulsion towards all that is subject to cessation, all the things in the world being impermanent. If we cling to it, we will suffer. So the Arahant, he has totally become disenchanted with everything in the world and he lets go. So then he has comprehended the Dhamma. That's the difference. One is practicing towards that state, whereas the other one has already achieved revulsion. 12.32 at Savatthi. Then the monk Kalara, the Khattiya, approached the Venerable Sariputta and exchanged greetings with him. When they had concluded their greetings and cordial talk, he sat down to one side and said to the Venerable Sariputta, "Friend Sariputta, the monk Molya Paguna has abandoned the training and returned to the lower life." And Venerable Sariputta said, "Then surely that Venerable did not find solace or comfort in this Dhamma Vinaya." And this Venerable Kalara, he said, "Well then, has the Venerable Sariputta attained solace in this Dhamma Vinaya?" And Venerable Sariputta said, "I have no perplexity, friend." That means I have no doubt. "But as to the future, friend," Venerable Kalara asked again. And Venerable Sariputta replied, "I have no doubt, friend." Then the monk Kalara, the Khattiya, rose from his seat and approached the Blessed One. Let's stop here for a moment. So here, the Venerable Kalara informed Venerable Sariputta that this Molya Paguna has disrobed. Then the Venerable Sariputta said, then it surely means that this person who disrobed, he did not find comfort in this Dhamma Vinaya. Then this Venerable Kalara asked him, "You mean to say, Venerable Sariputta, you have found comfort in this Dhamma Vinaya?" Then Venerable Sariputta said, "I have no doubt at all." Then he asked him, "What about the future?" He also says he has no doubt. Then this Venerable Kalara went to see the Buddha. Having approached, he paid homage to the Blessed One, sat down to one side and said to him, "Venerable Sir, the Venerable Sariputta has declared final knowledge thus. I understand, destroyed is birth, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being." I'll stop here for a moment. So you see, this monk, Kalara, he asked the Venerable Sariputta and whether Sariputta has found comfort in the Dhamma Vinaya. And Venerable Sariputta says he has no doubt, that means he has found comfort in the Dhamma Vinaya. But this Kepo, this Venerable Kalara, he went to tell the Buddha a different thing. Okay? Instead of repeating exactly what Venerable Sariputta said, he said, Venerable Sariputta says he has declared final knowledge, that means he has attained arahanthood. So that's why a lot of people are like this. Sometimes you hear something and then you interpret something else and then you go and tell somebody else in a different way and misunderstandings arise. So this is what happened in this case also. Then the Blessed One addressed a certain monk thus: "Come, monk, tell Sariputta in my name that the teacher calls him." "Yes, Venerable Sir," that monk replied. And he went to the Venerable Sariputta and told him, "The teacher calls you, friend Sariputta." "Yes, friend," the Venerable Sariputta replied. And he approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him and sat down to one side. The Blessed One then said to him, "Is it true, Sariputta, that you have declared final knowledge thus? I understand. Destroyed is birth, the holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being." Stop here for a moment. So in the Buddha's Vinaya, among even you have attained arahanthood, liberation, you are not supposed to declare it publicly. So the Buddha asked Venerable Sariputta, whether you said you already attained arahanthood. Then the Venerable Sariputta said, "Venerable Sir, I did not state the matter in those terms and phrases." That means I didn't say exactly that way. And then the Buddha said, "In whatever way, Sariputta, a clansman declares final knowledge, what he has declared should be understood as such." So the Buddha says, it doesn't matter how you say it. If you say you have finished your work, then you have declared that people understand that you have finished your work. And then Venerable Sariputta said, "Venerable Sir, didn't I too speak thus? Venerable Sir, I did not state the matter in those terms and phrases." So you see, Venerable Sariputta also is quite tough. He has to stand up to the Buddha. He said, "Didn't I tell you? I didn't say like that, ma." And then the Buddha said, "If Sariputta, they were to ask you, 'Friend Sariputta, how have you known, how have you seen that you have declared final knowledge thus? I understand, destroyed is birth, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done, there is no more for this state of being. Being asked thus, how would you answer?'" So here the Buddha kind of changes the topic, asked him something else. And he said, "If they were to ask me this, Venerable Sir, I would answer thus: with the destruction of the source from which birth originates, I have understood. When the cause is destroyed, the effect is destroyed. Having understood this, I understand. Destroyed is birth, the holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. Being asked thus, Venerable Sir, I would answer in such a way." I stop here for a moment. So here you see, Venerable Sariputta also is quite blunt. He said, if somebody asks me, "How you know you have finished your work?" He said, I will answer with the destruction of the source from which birth originates. I have understood. That means if I have destroyed the source of birth, then I have understood that I have destroyed the cause of birth. Then because I have destroyed the cause of birth, therefore birth is destroyed. The holy life has been lived. In other words, what work had to be done, I have done. And then the Buddha said, "But Sariputta, if they were to ask you, 'But friend Sariputta, what is the source of birth? What is its origin? From what is it born and produced?' Being asked thus, how would you answer?" If they were to ask me this, Venerable Sir, I would answer thus: birth, friends, has being as its source, being as its origin. It is born and produced from being. Being asked thus, Venerable Sir, I would answer in such a way. And the Buddha said, "But Sariputta, if they were to ask you, 'But friend Sariputta, what is the source of being?' Being asked thus, how would you answer? If they were to ask me this, Venerable Sir, I would answer thus: being friends has clinging or attachment as its source. But Sariputta, if they were to ask you, but friend Sariputta, what is the source of clinging or attachment? What is the source of craving? What is its origin? And what is it produced? What is it? From what is it born and produced? Being asked this, how would you answer? If they were to ask me this, Venerable Sir, I would answer thus: craving friends has feeling as its source, feeling as its origin. It is born and produced from feeling. Being asked thus, Venerable Sir, I would answer in such a way. But Sariputta, if they were to ask you, friend Sariputta, how have you known, how have you seen that delight in feelings no longer remains present in you? Being asked thus, how would you answer? If they were to ask me this, Venerable Sir, I would answer thus: friends, there are these three feelings. What three? Pleasant feeling, painful feeling, neither painful nor pleasant feeling. These three feelings, friends, are impermanent. Whatever is impermanent is suffering. When this was understood, delight in feelings no longer remain present in me. Being asked thus, Venerable Sir, I would answer in such a way. Good, Sariputta, this is another method of explaining in brief the same point. Whatever is felt is included within suffering. But Sariputta, if they were to ask you, friend Sariputta, through what kind of deliverance have you declared final knowledge thus? I understand, destroyed is birth, the holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done, there is no more for this state of being. Being asked thus, how would you answer? If they were to ask me this, Venerable Sir, I would answer thus: friends, through an internal deliverance, through the destruction of all clinging, I dwell mindfully in such a way that the asavas do not flow within me, and I do not despise myself. Being asked thus, Venerable Sir, I would answer in such a way. Good, Sariputta, this is another method of explaining in brief that same point. I have no perplexity in regard to the asavas spoken of by the ascetic. I do not doubt that they have been abandoned by me. This is what the Blessed One said. Having said this, the Fortunate One rose from his seat and entered his dwelling. Then soon after the Blessed One had departed, the Venerable Sariputta addressed the monks thus: friends, the first question that the Blessed One asked me had not been previously considered by me. Thus I hesitated over it. But when the Blessed One approved of my answer, it occurred to me, if the Blessed One were to question me about this matter with various terms and with various methods, for a whole day I would be able to answer him with various terms and with various methods. If he were to question me about this matter with various terms and with various methods, for a whole night, for a day and night, or for 2 days and nights, for 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 days and nights, for 7 days and nights I would be able to answer him with various terms and with various methods. Then the monk Kalara the Katya rose from his seat and approached the Blessed One. Having approached, he paid homage to the Blessed One, sat down to one side and said to him, Venerable Sir, the Venerable Sariputta has wrought his lion's roar thus: friends, the first question that the Blessed One asked me had not been previously considered by me thus. Thus I hesitated over it. But when the Blessed One approved of my answer, it occurred to me, if the Blessed One were to question me about this matter for up to 7 days and nights, I would be able to answer him with various terms and with various methods. And the Buddha said, monk, the Venerable Sariputta has thoroughly penetrated that element of the Dhamma, by the thorough penetration of which, if I were to question him about that matter with various terms and with various methods for up to 7 days and nights, he would be able to answer me with various terms and with various methods. That's the end of the sutta. So you see this kepo, last, what the Venerable Sariputta said, again he go and report to the Buddha. Since the Buddha has a high regard for the Venerable Sariputta, the Buddha agreed that if he were to question him for 7 days and 7 nights or so, he would be able to answer for 7 days and 7 nights. So this is quite an interesting sutta that shows